Hello and welcome to a philosophical rollercoaster ride where nothing is sacred, except maybe the sanctity of a good paradox. Today we're diving headfirst into the world's most mind-boggling philosophical paradoxes, those delightful head-scratchers that make you question everything you thought you knew about logic, reality, and whether or not that hot dog you ate was truly sentient. Buckle up, because things are about to get weird, wonderfully weird.
This paradox asks whether an object that has had all of its components replaced remains fundamentally the same object. Let's say you've been rocking the same smartphone for years.
The battery's been swapped out more times than you can count. The screen's been replaced and it's on its third home button. Is it still the same phone?
More importantly, if your phone achieves self-awareness, is it going to demand an existential crisis therapist?
The classic conundrum. Can a being who can do anything create a task so difficult that even they can't do it?
Imagine a superhero. Let's call him Captain Overkill, trying to outdo his previous feats of strength. He's lifted mountains, diverted asteroids, and even folded the laundry, a true testament to his power. But can he resist the urge to make his life needlessly difficult, just to prove a philosophical point?
Right, the Barber Paradox. This one's a real humdinger. So, there's a barber, see? And he's got this whole deal, this rule he lives by. He only shaves those who don't shave themselves. Seems simple enough, right? Except who the bloody hell shaves the barber then? It's enough to make you want to chuck your razor in the bin and embrace the beard.
Imagine identical twins, right? One's a homebody, the other's rocketing off in a spaceship at ludicrous speed. They meet up years later, and guess what? The spacefaring twin is younger. Turns out time is a fickle git when you travel near the speed of light. Who knew? The twin paradox. This one's less about awkward family reunions and more about the mind-bending implications of Einstein's relativity.
Let's talk about Zeno's paradoxes, specifically the one with Achilles and the tortoise. It's like trying to catch an Uber when you're absolutely hammered, always just out of reach. Now, we all know Achilles is meant to be this super speedy demigod, right? But Zeno's saying, hold on, not so fast. He gives the tortoise a head start, and here's the kicker. Every time Achilles catches up to where the tortoise was, the tortoise has inched forward a little bit.
Right, the paradox of the raven. It's like this: all ravens are black, right? So if you see a black raven, it supports the idea that all ravens are black. Makes sense. But here's the kicker: seeing a green apple also supposedly supports that idea. Because if something isn't black and isn't a raven, it still fits the rule. It's like saying my inability to dunk a basketball proves I'm the Queen of England. Technically true, but utterly useless.
The unexpected hanging. Imagine a judge saying you'll be hanged next week, but the day will be a surprise.
You think, well, it can't be Saturday? That's not a surprise by then. Then you realize Friday's out too, and so on. You've logically ruled out every day.
But then Wednesday rolls around, and bam, surprise hanging.
Let's talk about cookies. One cookie isn't a pile, right? Two cookies, still not a pile.
But keep adding cookies, and eventually, bam! You've got a cookie mountain.
That, my friends, is the Sorites Paradox. It's like trying to define too much cheese. There's a fine line between just enough and I need to be rolled out of the cheese shop, and it's surprisingly hard to find.
And here we are, folks, grappling with the paradox of fiction.
We've all been there, bawling our eyes out over a beloved character's tragic demise, knowing full well they're about as real as my chances of winning a staring contest with a statue.
It's irrational, it's illogical, and yet here we are, sobbing over a dog that died in a book written by a guy who eats paste.
Imagine a game show, right? One hosted by a prescient, possibly psychic emu, because why not? S4. Newcomb's Paradox.
You've got two boxes, one transparent with $1,000, the other opaque, potentially holding $1 million or absolutely nothing.
The emu, having predicted your choice, already filled the opaque box.
Do you trust the bird-brained psychic and risk it all, or play it safe?
The paradox of tolerance. Essentially, how much crazy are you willing to put up with for the sake of tolerance?
Should we tolerate the intolerant?
It's like letting a pack of rabid raccoons into a petting zoo because, hey, everyone deserves a chance. Even if it means the guinea pigs end up wearing tiny, adorable little helmets made of fear.
And now, for something truly mind-bending, let's step into the absurd world of paradoxes. This week we tackle a classic, the liar paradox.
Picture this. A courtroom drama unfolds where the defendant utters the immortal words, "Everything I say is a lie." The jury is baffled.
Is he telling the truth or a lie? This, my friends, is a philosophical rabbit hole we're going down.
Ever stood frozen in the supermarket aisle, paralyzed by the sheer number of cereal options? That, my friends, is the paradox of choice in action. We think more options mean more freedom, but really they just turn us into indecisive messes. It's enough to make you long for the days of only having one type of gruel. Just kidding, no one wants gruel.
The Paradox of Thrift, the economic theory that proves we're all doomed?
It basically says that if we all save money during a recession, the economy will be even worse. It's like a giant game of chicken, but instead of cars, it's our dwindling bank accounts.
So, next time you feel guilty about that avocado toast, just remember, you might be saving the economy. You're welcome.
But what if I told you that statistically speaking, your friends are probably more popular than you are? This, my friends, is the friendship paradox in action, and it's enough to make you want to burn your social media accounts to the ground. S1. Ah, friendship. That beautiful tapestry woven from shared experiences, inside jokes, and the occasional passive-aggressive text message.
But don't worry, it's not you, it's math probably.
But here's the kicker. The more you strive for enlightenment, the more elusive it becomes. It's like trying to catch your own shadow or explain the plot of Inception after a bottle of wine. S2, enlightenment. It's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To reach a higher state of being, to transcend the mundane, to finally figure out what the hell we're doing here.
So, how do we escape this paradoxical pretzel of self-discovery? We'll probably tell you after this.
We're told to analyze everything, to think critically, to weigh all of our options. But what if I told you that overthinking things can actually lead to worse decisions? That's the paradox of analysis, folks. It's like when you spend hours researching which brand of toaster to buy, only to end up burning your toast because you were too busy reading Amazon reviews to actually, supervise the toasting process.
And finally, the paradox of hedonism. It's basically the philosophical equivalent of that friend who plans a meticulously fun vacation, right down to the hourly itinerary and the color-coded spreadsheet of restaurants.
It always ends with them sobbing into a plate of duty-free gummy bears, wondering where the fun went.
Turns out, desperately chasing happiness is about as effective as trying to catch a greased piglet riding a unicycle on roller skates.
Deontology, the ethical theory that's big on rules and really, really bad at parties. This paradox asks if it's okay to break a rule, if it means following another, even if it leads to, let's say, a slightly less than ideal outcome.
It's like choosing between washing your hands and saving a baby from a burning building, but the sink is all the way across the room. Tough call, right?
And finally, we arrive at the mother of all why am I still awake thought experiments, the lottery.
On the one hand, you know the odds of winning are about as likely as finding a unicorn riding a Roomba on the moon. On the other hand, what if? It's like staring into the abyss of probability, and the abyss is offering you a scratch-off ticket.
So there you have it. 20 philosophical paradoxes that are guaranteed to make your brain do more backflips than a squirrel on a trampoline. But hey, isn't that part of the fun? Philosophy shouldn't be some stuffy old professor droning on in a dusty library. It should be about questioning everything, even if the answer is because I said so. So go forth, my little thought experiment champions, and spread the paradoxical joy. Discuss these mind-benders with your friends, family, even your pets. Just maybe avoid talking about them on a first date. Unless you're really going for that I enjoy existential dread vibe. And with that, I leave you to ponder the universe's mysteries. Hopefully, I haven't twisted your brains too badly. You might need them for, basic human function.